Good morning. Welcome to our math class. We are now in third quarter, week 1. Okay, to start with, we're going to bow our head and put the presents to the Lord.
Dear God, thank you for loving me and giving me your all. When I grow up, I will still be serving you. I want to know you more. I want to love you more. I'll never forget you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. I want to know you, Lord. You are a great big God. I'm young and do not know a lot. Come and be my own. I want to love you more, giving you my life and all. You died for me, you sacrifice. I won't forget you, Lord. I love you, Jesus. I'll grow up knowing you. I love you, Jesus. I'll grow up serving you. I love you, Jesus. My life is saved by you. I'll never forget, never forget. I'll grow up loving you.
Okay, this week we're going to study about the relationship of percent, fractions, ratios, and decimals. Another one, we're going to study also how to define the meaning of base, percentage, and rate. And the third one, we're going to identify the elements of percent in the problems. So, at the end of the lesson, you are expected to visualize percent and its relationship to fractions, ratios, decimal numbers using models. Second, you're going to define percentage, base, rate, and percent. And the last one, you're going to identify the base, percentage, and the rate in the problem. Okay, so let's have this figure. What have you seen? Alright, so we have a big square. So a big square is divided into 100 small squares. So that is 10 by 10 square. So using that illustration, can you give the fraction? Okay, so you look at the shaded part. How many shaded part are there in the illustration or in the big square? Okay, very good. So we have 40 and 40 out of 100. So therefore, our fraction, or so we are going to give the fraction, and we are also going to change that into decimal number, into a ratio, and percent. So now the fraction is 40 over 100. So 40 over 100. Yan. So 40 hundredths class is not in the lowest term. So we are going to change that into lowest term by dividing it by the GCF. So what is the GCF of 40 and 100? Alright, very good. So that is 20. So we are going to divide it by 20. So we have 40 divided by 20 over 20. So 40 divided by 20 equals 2. Then 100 divided by 20 equals 5. So therefore, our fraction is 2/5. Can you follow? Alright. Now, so 2/5 is our fraction now, using the illustration. Now, we are going to change that into a decimal number. So how we are going to change that into decimal numbers? Okay, so that is, so going back to the fraction 40 hundredths, that is also 40 hundredths. So you have two decimal places. Okay. So this is now our decimal number. So 40 hundredths. Right. We are going to change now our answer to ratio. So 40 hundredths change to ratio is very good. So that is 2:5. So why we are not going to use 40:100? So ratio as fraction also, you are going to express your answer to lowest term. Now, we are going to change now our answer to percent. So what is percent, by the way? Okay, so percents class comes from the Latin term percentum, or means per 100 or per 100. That is meant by percent. Now, so using the decimal number, we can change now our answer into percent by moving the decimal points to the left or to the right. So we're going to move twice. Since hundreds, so two zeros, so we're going to move this 1, 2. So therefore, it becomes 40. Then you're going to put a percent sign. So this is a percent sign. So the answer is 40%. Again, from 40 hundredths, we're going to change that percent by moving the decimal points twice to the right. Or simply by multiplying it by 100. Let's say for example, we have this 40 hundredths times 100. Why 100? Because according to percent, it means per 100. So we're going to multiply it by 100. So we have, bring down 3 zeros, then 1 times 4 equals 4. Then count the number of decimal places twice. We have 1, 2, 1, 2. So therefore, the answer is 40. And you are going to put a percent sign that is 40%. Can you follow? Alright, very good. Now, let's have another example here. So that is 40%. It's very easy. Now, how if our fraction is not in the power of 10? When we say power of 10, the denominator is 100, 10, 1,000, 10,000, so on and so forth. Now, supposing we have here pizza, and the pizza was slices into 5 equal parts. Supposing you're going to eat 1 part of it. So the remaining is 4. Now the question is, what part of the pizza did you eat? Now you're going to change your you're going to answer in a fraction form, in a decimal form, a ratio form, and a percent form. Again, my question is, what part of the pizza did you eat? So the answer is 1/5, because you eaten 1 part of 1 slice of the pizza, and the pizza was divided into 5 equal slices. Now, we are going to change now 1/5 to decimal number. So I'm going to teach you how to change a fraction to a decimal number. So I am going to teach you 2 methods. So the first method is you are going to look for the number that you multiply it by 5 is equals to 100. What number can be multiplied by 5 that becomes 100? What is the answer? Very good. That is 20. So we are going to multiply it by 20, both numerator and the denominator. So we have 1 times 20 equals 20. Then we have 5 times 20 equals 100. So therefore, the answer is 1/5 is equals to 20 hundredths in the decimal form. So this is one method in changing fraction to decimal number. So we are going to look at the number that can be multiplied to the denominator that the product becomes 100. Now, another way is by dividing the fraction. So how do we divide? So numerator divided by the denominator. So let's have this 1/5. So 1 divided by 5. So 1 divided by 5 cannot be, or 0. So we are going to put 2 zeros. or you are going to add 2 zeros, but before you add, you are going to put a decimal points here. Have you seen? Alright, now, so you're going to put also the decimal points at the top, aligned to the decimal points that you have right below your, in your dividend. Now, so you'll start with dividing 1 divided by 5, the answer is 0. So then 0 times 5, 0. Then bring down 1, bring down 0. Then we have 10 divided by 5 equals 2. Then 2 times 5 equals 10. So there is 10 minus 10 equals 0. So we have 0 remaining here. We're going to put it at the top. So it becomes 20 hundredths. So the same. As we looking at the number to multiply the denominator to becomes 100. So the answer is 20 hundredths. Can you follow? Okay, very good. So now, in the 1/5 in decimal number is 20 hundredths. Now, we're going to change that to ratio. So, it's very easy. Why? Because we are, comparing 1/5. So, going back to the original number, 1/5. So, the ratio is 1:5. Okay, now, percent. How do we change ratio to percent? You are going to go back to the decimal number. So our decimal number is 20 hundredths. So as what I have said a while ago, you're going to move the decimal points twice to the right. So we have 20 hundredths. Move the decimal point to the right. 1, 2. So 20 hundredths becomes 20, and you're going to put a percent sign, so it becomes 20%. And the other way that I am going to use is by multiplying it by 100. Again, why 100? Because percent means per 100. So we are going to multiply, bring down 3 zeros. 2 times 1 equals 2. Then count the number of decimal places. We have 1, 2, 1, 2. So we have 20. So you're going to copy 20, then write the percent sign. So it becomes 20%. So that is how to change decimal number to percent. So the answer is 20%. So again, 1/5 in decimal number is 20 hundredths. In ratio is 1:5. And in percent is 20%. Let's have another one. Okay, what have you seen? Alright, so you have a dragon fruit. Do you eat dragon fruit? Okay, very good. So where can we find dragon fruit? Alright, so in Tagaytay. So we have many plantation of dragon fruit in Tagaytay. Now, how many dragon fruit have you seen? Alright, so we have 8. Supposing you are going to eat 2 dragon fruits. And what? How many dragon fruit did you eat? 2. And what part of the dragon fruit did you eat? Okay, so now, you're going to answer by fraction form, by decimal form, by ratio form, and in percent form. Okay, so again, we have 8 dragon fruits and you have eaten 2 dragon fruits. So the fraction is 2 eighths. Now, 2 eighths class is not in the lowest term. So we are going to change that to lowest term first before we change that into a decimal number. So what number can be divided both 8 and 2? Alright, very good. So we're going to divide it by 2. So we have 2 divided by 2, 8 divided by 2. So then equals 2 divided by 2 equals 1. 8 divided by 2 equals 4. So therefore, 2 eighths is equals 1/4. So the answer now in our fraction is 1/4. Now, 1/4 change to decimal number. So how do we change that into a decimal number? Again, we're going to look at the number that can be multiplied by the denominator to become 100. So what number we're going to multiply it by 4 that the answer is 100? Alright, we have 20. So we are going to multiply also 20, the numerator. So 1 times 20 equals, it's 25 rather, 25. So 1 times 25 equals 25. Then 4 times 25 equals 100. So therefore, 1/4 in a decimal number is 25 hundredths. So we have 25 hundredths. Again, we can also use another way by dividing the numerator by its denominator. How? Okay. So look at this. So we have 1/4. I'm right? Okay. So 1 divided by 4. So add decimal points, then add 2 zeros. Okay. 1 divided by 4 is 0. 0 times 4 equals 0. Then we have 1. Bring down 0. 10 divided by 4 equals 2. 2 times 4 equals 8. Then subtract 10 minus 8 equals 2. Bring down 0. Then we have 20. 20 divided by 4 equals 5. Then 5 times 4 equals 20. So 20 minus 20 equals 0. Excuse me. So we have now the answer 25 hundredths. So therefore, 1/4 is equals in decimal form is 25 hundredths. Now in the ratio, you're going to go back to the original fraction into the lowest term. So the ratio now is 1:4. Then, in percent. So, saan tayo titingin kapag nag-change tayo ng percent? We're going to look at the decimal number. So, the decimal number is 25 hundredths. So, move the decimal points. It becomes 25%. So, that is now how to change percent to decimal, to fraction, and to ratios. To have a deeper information and knowledge about the percent, we're going to study their elements. Do you know what are the elements of percent? Alright, so we have 3 elements of percent. One is percentage. What do you mean by percentage? Okay, so percentage class, it is the result of finding a certain percent of a number. So in other words, percentage is a part of the base. It is taken from the base. Okay, the other element is rate. Do you know what is rate? Okay, so rate class is the comparison of the percentage to the base expressed in percent or the percent sign. And rate class is given to the base, or that is the percentage over the base. So we can get the rate by dividing the percentage by its base. And then the third element of percent is the base. Again, the base is the whole part which percent is taken. Ito ang kabuuan, ang isang buo. That is the base. So if we are going to compare the number, the base has the higher value compared to the percentage. It depends upon the situation. Let's say for example, the given rate is 200%. So therefore, the percentage is higher than the base because the base is double. Now, let's have to study this problem. We are going to analyze and then we're going to identify what part of elements is being described. Okay. In a test, George got 90% of the questions correctly. From a 20-item test, he answered 18 questions correctly. Now, we have three numbers there. We're going to identify what elements of each number be presented. Okay, so we are going to give the percentage. So in that problem, what is the percentage? Alright, we have 20 or 18 rather. So 18 class, what have you observed in our problem? So 18, it follows the verb or the action word. Sometimes it is followed by the linking verb which is, are, were, or was. That is the clue word that you can tell that a given number is a percentage. And then, it's very easy to identify the rate because it has a percent sign. So the rate in our problem is 90%. Again, rate is very easy. Why? Because it has a percent sign. Then, we have the base, 20. The base is the whole part. So, in our problem, the base is 20 because it's followed by of the question. So, we are going to look at the preposition, the word of. So, it follows by the preposition of. Okay, let's have another example here. In every 7 bananas, there are 3 mangoes. 70% of the fruits are bananas. Now, okay, let's say, what is the percentage in that problem? Percentage is 3. The word are 3 mangoes. Can you see the linking verb? Are 3 mangoes. So that is the clue word that you can tell that a certain number is percentage. How about the rate? 70% because it has a percent sign. Basta kapag may percent sign, automatic that is rate. And the base is 7. And take note class that base is bigger than compared to the percentage. Kasi kabuuan si base. Let's have another. Now this time we're going to use phrase. Kanina story problem tayo. Now this time phrase naman. So we are going to use the linking verb is and the preposition of the word of. So let's have this number 1. 540 is 45% of 1,020. Now, what is the rate? What is the base? And what is the percentage in that phrase? Okay, the rate. What is the rate? 45%. Very good. So that is 45%. How about the base? Okay, very good. So we have 1,200. And the remaining number is 540 is the percentage. So look at the phrase. 540 is. So the linking verb is followed by the percentage. And the preposition of followed by the number of the base. Okay, let's have number 2. 30% of 120 is 36. Now, what is the rate? 30%. Very good. Now, what is the base? 120 because it follows by the the preposition of. So 120 is the base. And the remaining number is 36, that is percentage. Then the last number, number 3, 34 is 85% of 40. So what is the rate? 85%. Okay, how about the base? 40, very good. And the percentage is 34. So that is how to identify the elements of percent. Again, percent is different from percentage. Why? Because percent, it came from the Latin term per centum, that is meant by per 100. Why percentage? This is the part taken from the base. Now, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to answer this. 3 minutes only. Directions, write it as fraction, decimal, ratio, and percent. So how many answers do you have? So in one number, you have 4 answers. You're going to write in a fraction, in a decimal form, in a ratio form, and percent form. Write your answer in your pad paper. Take note, answer only. Do not draw or do not copy the direction. Okay, I guess you are done. Let us check your work. So for a fraction, for number 1, what is the fraction? That is 1/2. Okay, 1/2. So what number can be multiplied by 2 to becomes 100? That is 50. So 2 times 50 equals 100. So therefore, in our decimal that is 50 hundredths. Now in our ratio, going back to the fraction, that is 1:2. Then our percent, so 50 hundredths, that is 50%. Who got the correct answer? Okay, very good. Now let's go down to number 2. Number 2, the answer is 1/4. Very good. So because we have the 1 part shaded. Then, decimal number, 1/4. I am discussed this a while ago. This is 25 hundredths. Then, the ratio is 1:4. Okay. And percent, going back to our decimal number, that is 25%. Okay. How about the last one? What is the fraction? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, rectangle is divided into 5 equal parts, and the shaded part is 2. That is 2/5. Okay. So, 2/5. What number can be multiplied by 5 to becomes 100? That is 20. So 20 times 40, 20 times 2 equals 40. So this is 40 hundredths. Then, in our ratio is 2:5. Then, our percent is 40%. So these are the answer for your activity number 1. So you're going to get a photo of your answer, then you are going to send it to your Google Classroom. Take note, class, in your Google Classroom, you are going to put the subject math and MAPE. Then sa math, dun yung ilalagay yung mga math output. Okay, let's have another activity. Activity number 2. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to answer. Answer only. So this time, you are going to identify the base, rate, and the percentage. Do it in your notebook. Okay, sa notebook naman siya gawin. So, number 1, let's have 20% of 40 is 8. Number 2, 90 is 40% of 225. Number 3, we have 75% of 30 is 24. The number 4, we have 45 is 15% of 300. And the last one, we have 30% of 120 is 36. So, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to answer that. Start now. I guess you are done. Okay. Let us check now. Be honest. Okay, let's have number 1. What is the rate? 20%. Now, base 40. How about the percentage? 8. Very good. How about number 2? Rate is 40%. Then the base is 225 and the percentage is 90. Number 3, rate is 75%, base 30, percentage 24. Then number 4, the rate is 15%, the base 300. And the percentage is 45. Let's have number 5. Rate 30%. Base 120. And the percentage is 36. So all in all, you have 15 items. You got 15. You can post your score in the Google Classroom. Okay, any question? Clarification, you can chat in our GC if you have a question before you answer the assessment test. Okay, if there is none, let's go now to another activity. So what is percent? Okay, again, so percent means per 100. And what are the elements of percent and its meaning? Okay, so let's have 1, percentage. The percentage is the result of finding a percent or a certain percent of a number. And it represents as letter P. And the second one, we have the rate. Rate is the comparison of the percentage to the base expressed in percent, and it represents as letter R. And the third one is the base. The base is the total or the whole part which percent is taken, and it represents as letter B. Okay, this time you are going to answer, and I am the one who are going to check this activity. So let's have this. 1 to 3. Write each as fraction, decimal, ratio, and percent. The other one, directions, write rate, base, or percentage on the blank to identify what element is missing. Do it in your notebook. Do not copy the sentence or the questions. You're going to write only the answer. So let's have this number 1. 30 is 15% of what number? So your answer, what element is missing? Ano bang nawawala na element ng percent ang nasa problem number 1? Then let's have problem number 2. What is 78% of 100? So what is the missing element? Then number 3. 8 is what percent of 160? Then number 4. 12 is 40% of what number? Again, you are not going to solve. You are going to get the supply the missing element of percent. You are not going to compute the percentage or the missing element. Then the last one is, what percent of 45 is 9? So what element is missing? Okay, let's go now to your assessment. So I have, how many activities that I'm going to check? We have 3 activities. This one is your assessment test or your quiz in this week, for week 1 rather. Again, do not write the question. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Write your answers only on a sheet of paper. Answer na lang, wag nang kopyahin. I will read the question and the choices. Number 1. What term means per 100? A base, B percent, C percentage, D rate. Okay, number 2. Which of the following is correct? 30% equals 33 hundredths. Letter B, 33% equals 3 and 3/10. Letter C, 33% equals 33. And letter D, 33% is 3 and 3/100. Number 3. Which 45% of the grade 5 pupils are girls? Express 45% as decimals. Letter A, 45 thousandths. Letter B, 45 hundredths. Letter C, 4 and 5 tenths. Letter D, 45 and 0 tenths. Let's go now to number 4. Number 4, in which statement 35% of 600 equals 210? Which is the percentage? A, 35%, B, 600, C, 210, D, none. Number 5. Did you answer? Which does not belong? A, 21%, B, 21 hundredths, C, 21 is to 100, D, 21. Number 6. Which element of percent represent part of a whole? Which element of percent represent part of the whole? Excuse me. A, base, B, percent, C, percentage, D, rate. Okay, number 7. In a survey on the choice of pizza, 900 out of 1,500 people preferred brand A to B. What percent preferred to A? What is the missing element? A, base, B, percent, C, percentage, D, rate. Number 8. What is the missing element in the problem? A big theater has 1,400 seats. During a concert, it is 95% full. How many seats were taken? A. Base, B. Percent, C. Percentage, D. Rate. Again, you're going to identify what is the missing element. Alright, let's go now to number 9. Which element of percent represents the whole? A. Base, B. Percent, C. Percentage, D. Rate. And the last one, how many is 75% of a class in fraction form? How many is 75% of a class in a fraction form? A. 1/3, B. 1/2, C. 3/4, D. 5/6. Are you done? Alright, so your assignment is write your reflection regarding to your lesson this week. You're going to supply the blank. I understand that, then I learned that. Thank you for listening. Enjoy doing your activities. See you next week. Goodbye, class.